Right, call the order the village board meeting for the Village of Lisbon on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026, 6:31. Roll call, please.
President Gerke,
Here.
trustee Moonen,
Here.
trustee Baum,
Here.
trustee Quinn,
Here.
trustee Field,
Here.
administrator Green,
Here.
and clerk Capazzo.
I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 3 are citizen comments. Are there any citizens here that wish to speak? Anyone on Zoom?
No one present on Zoom.
All right. Then we'll move on to the item 4, which is the consent agenda. These items can be approved in one motion unless the trustee requests that they be consider any of them separately. So is there a motion on them all, or do we wish to pull something off?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5A is to authorize the payment of the one-click bills dated July 23rd, amount of $2,134.66.
Moved as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 4-0. Item 5B is authorized payment of the remaining bills dated July 23rd in the amount of $309,319.54 and on August 6th for $170,325.44.
Top 5 expenditures from July 23rd are U.S. Bank credit card for $151,794.27. Waukesha County Treasurer in the amount of $89,573.15. Uncle Engineering for $15,848.05. Village of Sussex for $14,171.58, and Weiss Law Office for $6,716.96. Top 5 expenditures for August 13th are $36,193.15 for Premier Building Inspection, $20,367.01 to Kunkel Engineering, $17,500 for Garrett Holmes, $8,864.46 for Infrastructure, and $8,172.44 to Guthrie and Fry.
All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the remaining bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? It's hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. The Public Works and Utility Committee will meet on Wednesday, August 19th at 5 o'clock here at the Village Hall. The public hearing and plan commission meeting on Wednesday, August 26th at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. The public hearing, Lisa, is that what type of public
Just the
hearing?
plan commission public hearing.
Okay.
Not a joint public hearing.
And then Labor Day, September 7th, we are closed. All village departments are closed for the holiday. Parks Committee next meets on Wednesday, September 9th at 5.
We were gonna nix that meeting
Okay.
because I'm out of town and a couple of the other members weren't gonna be there, so we were gonna cancel that one.
Okay, all right. So then the next village board meeting is Wednesday, September 9th at 6:30 here at the Village Hall. Any other announcements or correspondence that need to be noted? Now we'll move on to Dan, your administrator's report.
So Tamarack Road is completed, and honestly, I haven't driven down that road, but Matt, you have, I don't know.
Looks
The
nice.
shouldering and all that is completed.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the shouldering, it's gonna settle some, and I don't like the way it turned out I mean, people cutting the grass it stinks, but,
Yeah,
and they kind of butchered the
straight.
the striping, I mean, but hopefully it fades well.
Yeah, and when they do projects like that, they're obviously the road comes up a good 3 or 4 inches sometimes.
Mhm.
Overlay, but
Isn't the yellow line just around the corner though?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised at that, but I guess they need it for a curve.
It was there before, but yeah, it was there before, but they put it in and then didn't put it in right, so they scratched it out and
just a little off.
it doesn't, yeah,
Did they
Uh,
remove the porta john?
finally.
Just an update to the board, and you all have heard, but Natasha, our treasurer, she moved on from Lisbon. So she served the village for over 7 years, so thank her for her time spent here in Lisbon. Currently, we're advertising the position. We have 4 applicants so far. We have it posted for another 10 days. At this point, I'm serving as the active treasurer, but trying not to become signers on anything as to be a conflict for anything. So using Elisa when I need to have a signer to authorize things. So hopefully I don't do anything terrible, but we'll get through it. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. So and then I'm working on the preliminary budget. We're getting net new construction estimates in, we're getting Waukesha County Sheriff budgets estimates in. Trying to get a number from the fire department. I think we're close. So budget's coming along pretty well. I did share the list of board priorities from the last meeting with architecture. We had a phone call or a Zoom call. And so they're working on that engineering and design, the next step in that process. And just one more final reminder that this is the last week that you'll have packets printed, and next month there will be none. So bring your
There'll be none?
laptops. There will be none. So
Why?
bring your laptops.
So I have to print it from home.
Or bring your laptops. I think everyone was assigned a village laptop. So I think the point of us doing that was to save paper so we didn't have to print, and then people can pull it up on here and look through it. So and that ends my report.
All right, or does anyone have any questions for Dan on that report?
The resurface for 164 is next year for us.
Oh,
Yes. And did you go to that meeting?
I did not, I just read the minutes, but
Okay.
if you have any questions, but this is more for everyone in that land. If you have any questions, it's a state project, not a Village of Lisbon or Waukesha County project.
And that's for the south side. Is the north side going to be then the following year?
Silver Spring to County Q is 2027.
Oh, good.
All right, item 8A is discussion and necessary action regarding the Land and Stone Water expansion project. Dan, you want to set the table for Ben here?
Yeah. So I provided a summary report of what we talked about at the Public Works Committee. Essentially, we had 2 options that we were pursuing. One was with the Village of Sussex, and one was with the City of Pewaukee for retail water for the areas on Town Line Road and south of K, east of Quarry Corners. We met with both communities, and both had pluses and negatives to providing us water. After going through each point of data, which Ben was able to provide in his presentation, Public Works Committee gave a recommendation to pursue Sussex as the water supplier for this project. And so that is what we're trying to get. We're looking for the board to also agree to, and then with that, we're looking to approve an amendment to Strand's contract to start looking at engineering and actually bidding out the project. So you have Ben's report here. If anyone has any specific questions, Ben's here to answer them. I wasn't gonna have Ben go through the full report that he did at Public Works. And Mark, if you have anything to add to that as well, feel free.
Yeah, thanks to Ben. He's here in person tonight from Strand Associates, Mr. Ben Wood. First off, we'd like to thank both communities for helping us with this as far as cooperation and providing us with options to choose from. Both were good options. One was just a better option for long-term service and not having to essentially split service between north and south of K. It is a very I guess tentative plan. We're working through it. Ben, do you have any major highlights you want to share with our audience today?
Just real quick, I think you nailed the big one, which is like Pewaukee's not a bad option, but just the way looking at all the factors, it looks like Sussex is a better option and probably quicker to implement since Sussex is already serving portions of the village of Lisbon, with the Leeds property there. So there's already model template, things of that nature. The thing to kind of get noodled out is there's still a plan to have an emergency interconnect with the city of Pewaukee. And that'll require some state agency review, but meetings were held with both entities, and Sussex is very willing to take this on.
All right.
Was there any further developments with the church property as far as using their property for an easement or connecting to the back of those highway or Wire Road properties?
I will say we did add into our updated cost, assuming that we will loop through the church property. That was one of the feedbacks we received in meeting with the municipalities, was to try to limit the dead ends.
And just for everyone's reference, it would be the page that's titled Updated Contemplated Water Mains and Critical Areas. And if you direct your attention to Redeemer Church, there's an orange loop that would go through the south side of their property. Obviously, this is tentative. We have a lot of permissions, easements, as well as final designs, but tentatively it would be a good option to service those 4 highlighted properties, but not ideal because it's coming from the backyard, but it would still give us access to those properties.
If for some reason down the road, if we ever get a sewer water utility, would we get our customers back?
I believe the draft agreement that Sussex has presented is modeled off of your existing agreement, and Dan, I believe that's a provision in there.
Yeah, I just reviewed it. There is a provision in there that there's not a dollar amount specified, but we'll walk through some of those.
So we're not
line
just giving them away. And I don't know if we're ever gonna do it, but if we did, just so we have the option.
And that is one of the considerations why we'll own the infrastructure as well, not just give them the infrastructure.
Perfect.
Obviously high cost project, but I mean, and Nate's here from Land and Stone. I think it's appropriate to, bring him in on this as well. I mean, did he partake in the conversation at the utility committee meeting?
Yeah, for the essence of Mr. Wood spoke on behalf of the agreement or cooperation between LSP and Strand as well as the village. So, do you guys have anything you want to expand on that as far as?
No, I think we had that discussion the last month, so we're still. Yeah, sorry. No, I think we had a good discussion, last meeting and Ben covered it really, really well. And I think we're all in agreement about how the cost would be used and everything so far.
So all the costs involved in this is gonna be covered by you guys in your budget.
As designed right now, yes.
You think it's gonna change?
Well, fair question. So we've gone through a 30% design, so we can kind of get a higher confidence level in the cost, just to kind of set the table to make sure that, yes, it's within the realm of possibility. Let's continue to move ahead. So part of the ask tonight is for an amendment for us to get all the way to final design, prepare those bidding documents, and then we'll have that the layout nailed down even tighter with updated costs, and we're looking at a 2027 construction for all of this. So from here, several things will happen on a parallel track. Strand will start final design. The village will presumably have some updated negotiations with Land and Stone Products. The village will have some updated discussions with Sussex and probably hash out that, finalizing that agreement, and we'll submit some agency permit applications and I know Land and Stone and Village also intend to do some public notices also pending action tonight. And that all kind of be going ahead for the rest of this year into early next year.
So it's not just the construction that's covered by the quarry, which we really appreciate, and the residents do too. But all Strand's costs and everything are all covered under.
It's all under
quarry?
the quarry fund.
Pardon me?
It's coming from the quarry fund, which is
Yeah.
the deal that we have with
Okay.
the quarries,
I
yeah.
just want to make sure that one.
And then to Ben's point, Land and Stone did also reach out to public, call that public relations consultant. And so I had a nice conversation with him, and we're gonna work on, once we move on from this phase, getting the residents in this area notified, holding some public input meetings and going through that step. So that we can kind of hash that piece of it out before, hopefully before the end of the year ideally.
Does that $15,000 private property work that covers so the homeowners don't pay anything?
Nice. Well,
That's the intent.
That's all.
And what is the total amount that's gonna be in the fund at the end of the day that the agreement was written for years ago?
What do you mean?
Uh,
Like how much is in there right now or?
no, how much is gonna be in there total commitment it was obviously north of 10.7.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 15, wasn't it? Something like
Yeah,
that.
it was 13 to 15, depending on sales and inflation over the period. There's an inflation escalator in there.
Okay, so I mean, with the 20% contingency, and with the contingency and then the 20% contingency on top of that, I mean, we still have a $2 million cushion.
Well, yeah, but I mean, keep in mind too, that they were probably anticipating when that agreement was done to have municipal water for more than just this area. So,
Certainly the hope.
yeah,
Right.
so they didn't know at the time what the cost would be.
I mean, if this is the area we need to get done, I mean, to Linda's point, I mean, we have the funds to cover this. That we're not paying for it. And I mean, again, the money hasn't been received yet, but it's going to be received over the period of time.
Ben, under the Strand Associates agreement, can you highlight what the change was for compensation?
Yeah, sure. So we were under contract for 188. This adds 225,000 to take us from 30% design to final design for a total of 413. And did want to point out there's some several items listed as like items not included. That's primarily because we think they're not required, other than the public involvement stuff, which we have in our base 188, some of that already. But particularly easement descriptions are not included yet. I think once we get a little farther in design, we'll understand kind of what the property acquisition element of this looks like. If I'm assuming that some property owners will be cooperative, others might not, we'll kind of see what easement acquisition is gonna look like, and we might be back for an ask related to assisting with that.
As we talk about public information, I noticed that the public information meetings were excluded. Is that Strand Services? Is that the?
Hang on a second. I'll take the first crack at this. So in the agreement that you have in your packet, it's items not included is number 8 and 9. It's on that last page. I went back in preparing for this meeting, reread the base scope of services again. And I know you don't have this in your packet, but we already have included under program management up to 300 hours for lots of random potential things like extra agency communication, funding coordination. And one of those items is public outreach. And what's already included is communicate with the public about the project via owner approved means, including mailers, public information meetings, information updates, and owner's website, public hearings. So basically what I want to suggest is what you have in your packet is that we delete items 8 and 9 because there's an element to that already included. The way that works, how we described it in the original agreement is we're just billing hourly as needed up to certain hours. So to the extent that Land and Stone Products is using a public relations consultant and they're paying for that, we'll help feed them information, maybe review materials, whatever, but I think it all fits well within our kind of base scope anyways.
There's no contingency on Strand Services as far as?
Correct.
Okay.
We bill hourly and expense not to exceed up to that total
Okay.
threshold. If for some reason, I said the only foreseeable additional scope might be the easements once we get into that, pin that down, but that's how that works. There's contingency in the budget, but there's not contingency in our agreement.
What happens then?
If we get close to our threshold, we wouldn't bill beyond that without coming back and asking for another.
Asking the village?
Yeah. If we get close to our total of 413,000, then we would come back and ask for amendment if that was warranted.
You wouldn't go back to Strand, you wouldn't go back to.
Well,
the court.
I'm with Strand.
Right, I'm just saying, I got mixed up, the quarry, you wouldn't go back to the quarry, you would ask the village to pay the difference.
Because we hold the funds, so
Yeah.
Right.
that's why they have to come to us.
I know we hold the funds, but what happened to the funds, like he was saying, gets down and you have to ask for more.
Well, again, they're coming to us tonight, not coming to Land and Stone. We're
Okay,
They're-
we're paying
they're-
it from their fund,
right,
the
right.
quarry's fund, I
Our,
understand,
our quarry fund,
yes,
LSP's work
yes,
and tipping
yes,
tax contributes to that fund.
yes.
So he's saying if their contract goes over the 417,000, he's gonna come back to us and then we'll issue funds from the quarry fund if we approve any
From the
amendments.
quarry fund, okay.
But with that being said, I mean, the way that I hear, billing at an hourly rate and then will not exceed and
Yeah.
having a cap on it. The only way that we would go above the 413 is if the scope changed or if the number of hourly, I mean, so if it
Right.
happens to take you longer to design what you have planned here, then you eat that
Yeah,
effectively.
that's
I mean,
on us. Yep.
okay, right.
Yep.
I mean, so I mean, these are just the numbers we have here. These are big numbers, but I mean, staff and the committee has looked in that, and you're comfortable with what's behind it.
Yeah, there was Strand and with LSP's input too. We had a very long meeting about it. It was very informative. We went this packet that you have with the PowerPoint. We went through it, asked a lot of questions on it. We found some things that we changed a little bit, and I mean it's working. I mean
You guys passed it unanimously?
We did, yep.
Just one other thing to add, if I can. Just kind of reiterate some of Land and Stone Products sentiment is. If we start on final design now, we feel like it took longer to get to a decision point between suppliers than we anticipated. Some of that communication got drug out. But Public Works Committee made that unanimous decision, and we feel if we start design now, then we can still advertise for bidding to get this done in the 2027 construction year. And part of the sentiment is the longer we wait to do this, the buying power of that fund gets eroded. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, in essence, the board could think about it as a, well, we're doing this, right? Since we're doing this, then taking action tonight keeps everything on schedule.
Are there gonna be any issue, like water pressure issues going from a well to city water?
Great question. There's actually gonna be really strong pressure down here,
Yeah.
kind of in the 80s. So, most people that are on a well have their well pressure set in the mid-50s.
Yeah.
So it's changed. Building code says if it's greater than 80 PSI, then there has to be a pressure reducing valve on that line. And once there's that pressure reducing valve on that line, if folks want to set it to be, 58 PSI, just like it was before, they'll have that option.
So that's not gonna cause any issues with houses that have been on 50 and then all of a sudden they get shot to, is it gonna shock anything or?
That's a good
That's-
question. All I can tell you is we went through this in Lannon and we converted about 200 properties over to municipal system and municipal pressure, and we actually didn't do any PRVs. So they really did go from the full like 50 to 80. And I have not heard any reports in the way that people talk. I'm sure I would have.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any
that's fine.
reports of internal plumbing, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's certainly something to talk about in the public hearings that people
Yeah.
think, oh, pipe behind a wall is gonna burst and all kinds of things, but.
Yeah, we talked,
issues.
we did talk at the Public Works last month about that and covered it at length about. That's gonna be part of our public information campaign as well, so people are aware that there is a pressure increase and. What we would recommend or maybe don't need to recommend at this point.
That's good.
I don't have any other questions or anything else. I mean, anyone else have any discussion here?
No, I just, if I could just add, and I'll say it again, I think I know it's very, very expensive, and I know it's been voted not to do the sewer for the homeowners with it because they don't want it. But I think in the long run, it might be a mistake because it's not gonna get cheaper. I think it's the time to do it, but they don't want it, and that's fine. And I hope it doesn't come back to hurt them someday or someone over there.
You ready for a motion?
It's a recommended motion on the bottom of my arms.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the village's preferred supplier based on the recommendation from the Public Works Committee and proceed with the schedule presented and approve amendment number 1 to the technical services contract by Strand, striking 8 and 9 as all else presented.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
All right, is there any additional discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Thank you very much for coming. please.
Yeah, of course, thank you all.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you both. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Great, item 8B is discussion and necessary action regarding the replacement of the WAM mowers with zero turn mowers. Dan or Mark, who wants to take this?
Yeah, so this is by way of Public Works. It does have to deal with parks, but just by way of department. We're looking at replacing our wide area mowers, or also referred to in your packet as WAMs. And we're looking to replace those with commercial zero turn mowers. So just for visual, the ones you sit on and drive from a seat. So Mike was really very helpful with this. There was a lot of testing that went into play. And he outlined in your packet the current equipment that they have, as well as some of the challenges with our current operations. Just some of the things that we ran into. We currently only have one of the full-time parks employees that has a CDL limitation on his license, so that limits staff efficiency. I guess the concern from the parks is that it limits productivity during the busiest part of the season. When we have the additional labor, because we do hire seasonals. But essentially the labor can't transport the mowers. So we're looking for a smaller, more versatile and better utilized mower. The wide area mowers are a lot slower than what zero turns can do. Now they do have a greater width in cutting. But they're a lot slower. The maneuverability is a lot lower. And through the T&E, they determined that we can actually be more efficient if we're using the zero turns. One of the other things that Mike looked at was the cost of equipment. Obviously, in the last 5 years, we've seen prices all over the board with pricing, and everything is becoming more and more expensive. Just an example, the 2020
Thank you.
wide area mower that we purchased was 67 grand. That was a 2020. If you look at the Ferris model that we T-need, it's got a 72-inch mower deck on it. It's at 17,000. So lower prices, quicker cutting, better utilization by staff, and actually parts was a consideration too that Mike tossed in there. It's actually easier to find the parts, and they're less expensive, and the repairs take less technical expertise to complete. The proposed equipment's on page 2 of your packet. They were looking to do 3 of the Ferris 72-inch mowers. Also too, one thing that we've also thought of was the insurance cost. And so not that it's make a substantial difference to our insurer, but they would definitely will probably feel better about the fact that we're getting something more compatible with our seasonal help. So they're better on hills, they're more versatile on hills. Also too, Mike talked about training. He's gonna train all the seasonal employees on how to utilize them in a safe manner. So just if you look at back of page 4, the cost of 3 commercial Ferris zero turns with 72-inch decks is 52 grand. The sale of the current John Deere and Toro units would somewhere yield between 35 and 50 on return value. And there obviously will be some minimal cost to transition that we don't have a figure for at this time. But we looked at the financials there. So based off of all the different avenues they've considered, the recommendation from Mike and his crew would be to transition to the Ferris mowers. It should be noted that the Public Works Committee heard this and they voted unanimously to pass. That's what I got. Any specific questions, Linda?
Dollars and cents, you can't afford not to do it.
Yeah, it was, we were really actually surprised when the Ferris numbers came back I mean, they're tough machines. They're not, your home.
You said they were commercial grade.
They are commercial. A lot of, lawn cutting services use them actually.
Oh yeah, one of them's been going for 10 years.
Yeah. So, they're generally red and blackish. So
We buy all 3 at once.
we would.
And what is their lifespan?
I wish I could tell you that, but,
3,000 hours, like that maybe.
it really depends on how often they're used. I mean, they're gonna do maintenance on them, so. Being a new unit, it would have a warranty on it.
You guys have obviously thought this through, but so, why three and not two? How many get used at any given time?
Yeah, there was I think that's kind of a multifaceted thing. They don't think all three would be used at one time, but in the event that one of them went down, they would have the option to jump on the other one and service the other one, but they couldn't use them at three times. The problem we have is we can't always count on our seasonal staff for the DPW, so that's where it's kind of the third one is the relief mower or less utilized one.
So
And-
two of them would often get used at the same
Yeah.
time, as they were saying. Right.
Really three, I mean, if you have all your people work the same day and LCD is the part you have to do, then probably want to use all three. But I think it would make sense that you alternate the use of some of those two, so that maybe one down and replaced, and then stagger replacements.
Yeah, definitely.
And then speaking to highway department, they consider keeping one by them so that one of their guys could just mow the field that are there.
I was gonna ask about storage. I mean, this will take up more space, but we have.
I
sufficient-
think actually,
That.
I think, so these are actually gonna take up less space and then
For Zoom
the transportation of them, we're not gonna have to have as big of trailer. So all around it makes better sense. It's it's probably half as long as the Wham mowers. And the width on the Wham mowers is what really gets you. So you can imagine those have wings that fold down and.
Yep.
You have to have a different type of trailer.
Yep.
They're a lot heavier of a unit.
Like you need a CDL to be able
Yeah.
to transport two of them, as opposed to the,
I think it's a wise choice.
Yeah, no, I was kudos to Mike. I think he did a great job with, or Nick and Mike.
Yeah.
They put the report together.
Yeah.
and had all the testing. So, and I was on site for the testing for two of the three. We did Skag and we did Bears. Bears has front suspension that makes it a much smoother ride, which was really nice. And then you could just tell the cut was a lot cleaner than Skags. And Skags are good mowers too, but everyone agreed that this was the one to go with. And I believe the prices were spot on. Bears made them slightly cheaper.
And we're comfortable with the changes with the mini excavator to the stormwater, and so that all worked out.
Yeah, it really depends on what we sell the other two pieces of equipment for, but the thought was, yeah, we supplement. I mean, we talked about potentially paying for the mini all out of stormwater, but given that we did the borrow, this would just open up being able to take a small section of stormwater if the pay to.
So that 12,311 is effectively a plug number that will go up or down based on the sale of the equipment, if it's more or less than 40,000. Correct.
Yep.
All right, are we ready for a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 3 commercial Ferris zero-turn mowers with 72-inch decks at an estimated cost not to exceed $52,311.
Second.
All right, is there any additional discussion? It's hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And motion carries. Item C is discussion and necessary action to set the 2027 budget workshop dates. Yeah, I know we had talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, but I didn't see anything listed in the packets or otherwise. Where are we at on this?
I just kind of kept it open for everyone to look at their calendars. I didn't want to put a date out there and then have people be unable. So typically we do this in September, usually in mid-September. We do have a village board meeting on the 9th, but I believe Paula, you weren't gonna be able to make that one.
Yep, no, I'll be here.
So if, we're looking at sometime, maybe September 17th. Might be a good day, it's Thursday.
What time are we looking for? It's like
whenever
a
you guys are available.
5 to midnight thing or 5 to 10? 5 to 8,
5 to 7.
5 to 7?
I'd rather do one extra one and not do the marathon session. I'm just gonna say that right now.
We can do 2. But
I think it's necessary to do more than one because you have, you have a meeting and then there's questions that come
Yeah.
up, and I think even to get it done in two is probably, well, it's not realistic, but I mean, but I think maybe some of those can be a short one after the October meeting, or we can tie those into something else as well.
Are they expecting state numbers to come in on time?
We have preliminary like net construction. But we're state number, secure revenue and all that. We always get them at the same time. So the 17th we're probably not gonna have those numbers. We're probably looking at October. So I mean, we can push it to October. But I mean, if we're just going, we could potentially go over expenditures in, you know, September and then go over revenue.
There's kind of a relationship there though, too. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
so September 17th is the date that you'd like to do it, or do you want to?
I'm just throwing a date out there. If the 16th and the 23rd, obviously we have Public Works, we have, Plan Commission. We could do Wednesday the 30th. Want to keep it a Wednesday?
I am gone to South Carolina and DC from the 10th. I'll be here for the 9th. I did that on purpose. I leave on the 10th and coming back on the 23rd.
So the 30th could work for you.
Mhm.
I can do the 30th.
September 30th, correct?
Are we putting that one on the calendar?
So you said you're back on the 23rd.
Mhm.
So like if we wanted to look at the 24th, that's probably too tight with getting back then.
But that's okay. I have two doctor's appointments on that day, and as long as I'm busy, I'm busy. That's
I won't be
okay.
here,
Oh, okay.
so you guys can definitely have.
Oh, you gotta be here.
All right, so I guess we'll go with the September 30th date then.
What time? 6:30?
Or should we do 6?
I can go earlier.
Yeah,
I'm not here all night.
What would you like?
6.
I was just thinking of what you said. You know, as far as I want to have not a real long meeting, have two shorter ones, but one long is okay. 6 is fine with me.
I'm just gonna have to plan because I just need to have coverage for my,
Your mother.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay, so September 30th at 6 o'clock, is
Yeah.
that the consensus? And then we'll also, I mean, we'll certainly have a budget workshop on October 14th as well, but hopefully that will be, you know, much more brief.
Is the department head one gonna be the 30th, or is that the October one?
We can get the department one head one up. There.
So the October 14th?
First.
What other day did you say, Matt? The 14th?
I mean, I think we just have, you know, some tie-ups and some other discussion, you know, at a budget workshop after the village board meeting.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Okay.
Oh, on the 14th?
yes, I mean, hopefully, I mean, we'll try to load up the September meeting if there's anything that's out there, and we can try to keep the October village board meeting more brief if possible, and
Mhm.
then we'll have the second part of that. And I think that makes sense, right?
At what time for that? We'll just leave it open for now until we know?
Or do we want to start maybe a half hour early then?
On the
On the
14th?
14th?
For the village board meeting, you're
We
saying?
started
Yeah.
at 6 instead. That'll
Yeah.
give us, buy us a little more time if we have
Yeah.
a lot going
I
on.
think so too.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner we can start that, the better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could be here till. depending on how-
I can start at 5 if you want to. That far out.
I'm okay with that too. Oh,
Fine with
okay.
that.
6 o'clock sounds good to me. I know that.
5:30?
Okay, any other nomination here?
So we're gonna say 6 then, yes?
Yeah. 6 on both, the
6.
30th and the 14th.
Okay, but
Well,
The
October
14th
14th is a village board meeting, so it'd be right after.
so we're just moving up the village board
Right,
meeting by half an
right.
hour.
We'll try and keep that agenda light so we can
Okay,
get through it.
okay. Okay,
I don't think we need formal action here, Dan.
No, I'm sending, calendar advice.
okay, thank you. That's the biggest job we have to do is that. That's a big job.
Calendar advice?
The budget.
I said you'd be doing that before I put my calendar in.
Yeah.
Do 6 to 11.
All right, I think we're good then on this item, so we can move on to item D, which is discussion on the maintenance, and service of grinder pump.
Right. I circulated paperwork that I have written out. I just asked you to look at this with an open mind as if you were in the district and what you would want. Because there's 452 homes, current residents on sewer. I believe there's about 32 grinder pumps. And since the beginning, when they started this in 1989, thereabouts, I went to all those meetings. Never once did they bring up grinder pumps. I was shocked when I was on the old board and I go, what is a grinder pump? And then I realized I know what it is. And obviously now I've been told all these years, but all the 452 homes have been paying for these. And they are installed in the person's home, not out in the yard, it's in the home. And when there's an issue, a big alarm goes off. And so these people, they call like DeBellic right away. They don't care if it's 6 o'clock in the morning, have an emergency call, or 5 o'clock at night. They call whatever, and then they go out there and they fix it, and then we have normally paid for the bills. We've also, if it's a seller's fault because there is something that was put down the toilet, and it's only one time that I can remember that we as a district had a problem in Wooded Hills. It was a $25,000 charge, and the homeowner's insurance paid for it, which they were very lucky. We just had one the other couple months ago, and I wasn't at that board meeting. The 3 members voted to replace it, replace it because it was a little older, but it's still, in my personal opinion, we shouldn't have paid it because there's no limitation on the age of the pump. It's just this was wrecked by the homeowner's grandson, put something down. So we paid $4,200 to replace that pump, and they paid $1,000. These are gotten more expensive and more expensive. And I checked with local communities when I presented a talk back at the old district. I had checked, and I found my own notes. I checked with Waterford. I checked with Summit. I checked with Heartland. I checked with Wales. No one, all homeowners pay their own grinder pump fees. There is one that has 4 grinder pump, has 1 grinder pump for 4 homes. And we as a district decided we didn't want to do that. We've never done that. They have each their own grinder pump. But again, the homeowner pays for the grinder pumps because I've been told by one of the gentlemen that they consider it private property, just like a well pump is, a septic pump is, and so forth. We don't have anybody coming out and paying our well pump costs or anything. And we have discussed this subject at this level before. The Public Works Committee has reviewed the topic of grinder pumps twice. The first time they gave a recommendation to put the responsibility on the homeowner. And
When was that?
I don't have the dates.
Okay.
I got this from Dan. I don't have the dates. I know in the old district that we had a 3-person committee. 2 of us wanted the homeowner to pay their own, and 1 of us didn't. And we had a whole bunch of people here from Wooded Hills. And I won't go into detail how they know to come here, but we had a whole bunch of people kind of vote. He was very serious. He said, nope, we shouldn't have to pay for those. He was overwhelmed by the people. He voted and changed his vote that night. We could have gotten this taken care of very nicely that night years ago. And he changed his vote, unfortunately. He told me he was overwhelmed.
This is on the sewer board.
The
Okay.
board, it is
The village, the town board, or the?
No, the village.
Sanitary.
I'm all talking about
Okay.
the sewer board, not the village.
You said they
board.
made a recommendation though to the village or to the, I'm not sure if it's the village board or
This
town
was
board.
brought to the Public Works
Mhm.
Committee, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago maybe.
Mhm.
And during that conversation, the board had mentioned that they had already made a recommendation and the board didn't take action. Either they didn't take action on it or they didn't vote on it or.
I'm just looking to see how far back that previous one was, just for reference. I know it was before
Mhm.
Rob and I were here. And was it?
It's been before you were here. And then also, when I ask at the utility board meetings, nope, you have to go to the village board. Again, we have to start there. And so it's kind of a back and forth thing. And it's kind of frustrating.
Well, that committee had stated that they had already made a recommendation,
Yeah.
so weren't gonna make another recommendation.
They made a
That it
recommendation to
still
do it,
sits on
yeah.
the village board as
Mhm.
far as
So
what they wanted.
I'm confused, really confused. There's who actually what board actually makes this decision? Is it the village board or is it utility?
I mean, I could answer that in my opinion, but let's hear from staff.
The village board, has a say in amending the sewer code, which is that code provision that I sent
Mhm.
over to you. So it would be a village board that would make that decision to modify that section of code.
Mhm.
It could be a recommendation from the Public Works Committee to bring to the village board, but again, they
They
didn't
did,
really do any action the second time because they had stated they had already taken this item up in
exactly,
previous years.
exactly.
And I'm a little bit lost. So the first time around, the sanitary district board voted 2-1 to recommend this change to the village board or town board at the time.
No.
But then someone flipped, so it was actually it was a recommendation that it not. So the
Exactly.
positive recommendation never made it to the village board then.
No, it didn't, because it didn't come out of the of the old district board, the old board. It didn't come out of there because Mark flipped. And so it just sat there. And this was, I wish I had a date on my notes. I don't have a date on this when I made this presentation.
So I guess I'm just, I don't have I mean, you guys are more educated on this than I am,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to make sure I understand everything, right? So
Uh-huh.
the second to last paragraph, end of the second line, which says the first time they gave a recommendation to put the responsibility on the homeowner.
Yes,
But if I'm following you though, that never was the final recommendation of the,
it was. They've told me now that, am I correct, Mark? Maybe I'm wrong. When I bring it up at the utility level, they say, you gotta bring it back to the village board. And so, so it's kind of confusing. I am confused. Because it's gone back and forth.
well, you've done a good job of confusing me as well, so I'm not following, I don't.
I know.
So was there a positive?
The discussion that we had at Public Works, Mark, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was that they didn't want to take action on it because they had already made, I don't know if they made a motion or a recommendation to the village board. I don't know what happened at the village board level. I didn't look through the minutes to determine what happened, and I don't know when that was. I would assume it was when both, I think the trustees named Jane and
Joe,
Joe, thank you, were on the committee, so.
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
long and everything.
this happened, I want to say winter or something like that this happened. Because I was told, and Mark and I talked about this, wait until we redo the code. So I've been kind of putting it off, thinking I need to do that, so it would maybe save money to redo this. I'm not sure. I know a couple years ago, we voted to any new resident that comes on pays for their own costs. So but we haven't really had many new residents, But I also want to point out, since 23, we have paid $64,899.28. In addition to that, we have to have our Nick and anybody on board. We have to pay them to go out and get the pump and replace the pump and so forth. So there's a lot of other expenses involved in this. And if the homeowner does it, they're in charge of it. They can get things done probably a lot cheaper than what we do, and they can have someone and they can take care of it. They can take care because they really don't take care of it. It's not for them to do anything with it. It becomes private property. Just like you guys look over, our things at home, we take care of things. And I just think it's an expense that's been on for 37 years. And I think 37 years is a long time. The only thing that I would recommend is if there was any homeowner that has been on this from day one, if they've never replaced their grinder pump, we should replace it. Because, if that was fair, if everyone decided to do that, but otherwise I would cut it off immediately, because why just stretch it out myself? And so then I'm asking that that the next village board meeting that we bring up the code of ordinances for the sewer service area be revised to reflect the grinder pump's costs are totally paid by each homeowner for their respective grinder pump. And I have to tell you, we'll have people here from Wooded Hills, we will. But there again, everybody else in the district does not know what's going on. If they knew what was going on, they'd be here as well. So I'm not overwhelmed when people are in the audience, because we have to do what's best for the majority of the people, not the minority of the people. This whole sewer issue was pushed through. Let's just not say it was right how they pushed it through. They forced it down. And there was no total vote. It was a three-man committee. Three-man committee that pushed this on. One put an in-ground pool in, cut into a septic system, had no room for anything else. The other one bought a home that didn't check out the septic system, failed. So 2 of the 3 members had failing systems. That's why this was pushed through. And it makes me very uncomfortable as a village board member today, and all the work that have been on the board, that someone can be so crooked to do that. Because I will vote for something that will, if it's right for the village, then we do it. I don't care if it costs us money. It has to. We have to, like for the parks and everything else, you have to do what's best for the area. But what happened years ago was wrong, people. Well, it was wrong.
In regards to the grinder pumps,
Regard to the whole sewer. And the grinder pumps was a private issue. It was never brought up at any of these public meetings. I have to tell you, Matt, it was never brought up. And even, you know, and because I think they sold that on the fact that, you know, they would make not, because these people live in Wooded Hills, all 3 of them. So they
So-
wouldn't have angry neighbors.
your requested motion is you have it here, I mean, this you'd like to do at the next meeting, but then you said you'd like to change it a little bit so that.
Well, I would be in favor of changing it for an original homeowner who's not ever had a grinder pump and not ever had a grinder pump replaced. We're not talking many people.
Well, out of the 432 or 452, how many would that be?
No, 452, only 32 have grinder pumps.
Oh, so out of the 32, how many would?
We only have a couple. I was told at one time, it was when I did this, it was only a couple people.
Why
But-
do you get to replace them if they're not busted?
Exactly. But if they come and they have an issue, then I think the sewer fund should pay for it if they're the original homeowner and has never had it done. That's the only thing I'm saying, to be fair to everybody, because where's my list?
Well, because other people have benefited from it. so,
Oh, my
yes.
gosh.
So
Oh,
then why
32
shouldn't they? I get what you're saying.
32 homeowners have benefited from it. And sometimes it's been a couple times.
Right, so not there's 32 grinder pumps, but not all of them have had been replaced. So there's been 20 some that have had them replaced. Is what you're.
The majority of them have had it replaced.
So I'm just using them. So okay.
The majority of them had it replaced. I was just trying to do what's right for those homeowners that have never had the sewer fund. I say sewer fund because I was told to name it that, not the utility. It's the sewer fund. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's, the sewer fund should pay for those original homeowner who has never had the grinder pump replaced. And that's only a couple people, though. I have to confess, it's not a lot.
Would there be any legal issue around that?
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, everybody gets it. We turn off everybody.
I think that
It's-
would be a cleaner way to do it, just cut everybody than.
I was just trying to be fair. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, at the time, municipal law and litigation, Attorney Macy opined on this in a letter dated May 8th, 2024. Dan, I'll ask that you send this to the board for their consideration, but, Attorney Macy did note the following, in regards to grinder pumps and costs. You reference a policy that was written in 1992. However, the attached documents only include a 1989 letter from the district chairman setting forth a financing plan for the district's distributions of sewer costs. Assuming you are referencing this letter, there is nothing that specifically references grinder pumps installation or maintenance costs. Therefore, it is unclear who would be responsible for grinder pump replacement and maintenance. The July 2020 sanitary district ordinance you provide is unsigned. Assuming there is a signed version and this ordinance was put into effect, the language states clearly that the district is only responsible for maintenance and replacement of grinder pumps installed by the district prior to July 1st, 2020.
Mhm.
Property owners are responsible for costs of all grinder pumps installed post July 1st, 2020.
Right.
That'd be most of it. I mean, that might be all of them.
I also note that language in section 1805 sub 4 of the village draft sewer code clearly states that the cost of installation and maintenance of the grinder pumps is the responsibility of the property owner. My recommendation would be to include language in the new sewer code, including reference to the list of grandfathered properties, potentially including the language from the code and list as exhibits. For example, you could create section 1805 sub 4 sub D, which would state something such as all grinder pumps installed by the Town of Lisbon Sanitary District Number 1 prior to July 1st, 2020 shall be maintained, repaired, and replaced by the Village of Lisbon pursuant to Town of Lisbon Sanitary District Number 1 Sewer Service Code Section 1.14. See Exhibit A. The only parcels eligible for maintenance, repair, or replacement of a grinder pump by the Village of Lisbon are listed in Exhibit B. No additional parcels shall be added to that list. So that was in 2024, and I think what Linda's referencing is that that was not legally adopted by the board because the board has yet to attach a new sewer service code.
Right. And that, I talked to Kathy a couple times before Dan got it. I said, when are you gonna do this? And she, because of everything else becoming the village, I understand. She said she didn't have time to do this.
Did the board vote? So the three of you were here. Did you vote on this at that
No,
time?
no, I'm the only one.
No, but did this come to the town board in July or in 2024?
It did for discussion, but it did not
I remember
Become-
talking about it. I don't remember.
it did not become approved because therefore the referenced exhibits and code had not yet been codified or created under the new
Right.
sewer ordinance. Dan, I guess administratively, can you speak to the difference that the committee has held off on?
Mhm.
Well, I
I
think
guess
the reason that we're holding
formalizing-
off on doing work on the sewer code itself is because we're going through a sewer service area amendment right now. So we potentially could have new policies in place that are gonna be related to connection fees and whatever else that goes along with sewer service expansion. Because of the fact that we kind of anticipated that Highway K was a priority for getting sewer, gravity sewer for the school.
Mhm.
So that's why we held off, thinking that would be a 12 to 18 month process, and that we would probably already be opening up the code for amendment, but that process is a little slower than anticipated.
Years slower. And it's costing the sewer fund money by pushing it off. And that's why I'm trying to say, can't we just pass, a change to the ordinance at this point and do it?
So were the three of you in favor of making that change when the code was rewritten, or
It wasn't rewritten.
no, when it was going to be down the line? Do you guys I mean, again, if it was just discussion item, there was no formal action, but
Yeah.
was the 3 or 5 board members in favor of that or not? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much, but
I believe they were, and I also was asked, why, let's wait until it's codified or whatever, because it's gonna save money. However, can't we, now, it's been so long, how long has Kathy been gone? How long has Dan been here? It's just an ongoing thing. I just say, let's just get going on this, make the change and let's get going and let's just make whatever has to be done. I'm just kind of frustrated with it. Truthfully, I feel like I'm the only one sitting out here watching out for the sewer fund, truthfully.
Do we have to do a public meeting about it? Cause it would,
No, it's not an amendment to the zoning code, so you don't need to do a public hearing.
but would it be wise to do something instead of just
If
doing
you
it?
just cut everyone off from grinder pump repair, you might get quite a bit of.
You might get Wooded
Backlash.
Hills here. They will
You're
be.
gonna get some.
So, I mean, that's fine, and just as long as
they're
they
not
know
notified,
without
then
doing
You're
it.
gonna get people after the fact thinking that the board did something.
I think they should be maybe letters sent to them that this is what we did or whatever, just to notify them, because they need to know in case something goes with theirs. that they don't call Debelic. If it goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, if it was theirs, they might wait till 8 o'clock in the morning to call a plumber and say, hey, I've got an issue, rather than whatever. That's all. This is all my experience, and I'm relaying that, like Mark says, I'm an odd duck out here because I know what happened in the very beginning.
I said you're an odd duck.
You did.
When?
You did. I don't know, quite a while ago.
I think we're all odd ducks. I mean, everyone's got their odd duck.
I admit I'm an odd duck.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do, and as you guys know, I do watch the money. I'm very, not for what's best for the village. I'm really do, that's one of my big things. And this is, we have to be honest we have to be fair to the 452 current users, that's all. We
I-
paid enough after 37
I
years.
guess if we're gonna talk about fair, the last line that I said about this, the July 1st, 2020 date it wasn't just a board decision. It was a very in-depth, it included public input. It included council review. It included recommendations from the sitting board members. So, I guess there's really nothing that has changed since the board. And I'll just say they opined that we never formally motioned or approved an ordinance change. So I'll just say it was opined, and that was the, I guess, agreement that we came to a consensus. Now, that was a different board, but I don't think there's anything overwhelmingly changing since then. There's a lot of lack of documentation from the inception of the system to really explain
Yes.
what happened and why it happened. And I think it was a very responsible decision that the board came to. Just for a lack of better terms, the code wasn't ready to be rewritten, so the board didn't take action on it. And we knew we were taking a new board into consideration, and that was the choice of that current board to leave it open. So, yes,
this is
we know that it cost money, but it also saved the then sanitary lots of money in the front end because of how they designed the system.
Are you talking about the original engineers?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, no, you're wrong.
There
There were a lot of mistakes that they made.
let me clarify to make more sense. There was design standards that were used that we can't prove why they were or weren't
You're
used,
right.
but it has been the recommendation of our engineers today that these design standards would have never been utilized.
No,
And to whose
never.
fault that was? Was it the sanitary? Was it the bill? Or
Well,
then-
it's the engineers that we hired to do the proper work.
Right, but they were something we inherited.
Exactly, and that's why we need to move on. I don't want to go through, we've been through this process before. We have paid the attorney, we have paid this, and we have paid that. To me, I just want it on the books. If either yes, we do it, or no, we don't. I would like it on the books, we do it. Because it's been stretched out so far. This has been for 1920. Okay, 2020 is maybe when this whole thing started, and we've been waiting 6 years so far. 6 years so far. And I don't want another 2 and 3 and 4 years and going through the same thing. I'm not for that. I'm tired of paying. I don't want to talk about personal. I'm talking about the sewer fund residents. I don't want to see them pay any more than they have to. To me, just very unfair. I would like to see this ended myself.
Are you in disagreement with what the attorney recommended that the board
Mhm.
adopt?
Mhm. Because at the time, there was a lot of question about, we talked about, oh, what is he, we didn't kind of think about that, we were kind of surprised at what he said.
Can
So-
you explain what the attorney recommended?
All grinder pumps installed by the Town of Lisbon Sanitary District Number 1 prior to July 1st, 2020 shall be maintained, repaired, and replaced by the Village of Lisbon pursuant to the Town of Lisbon Sanitary District Number 1 Sewer Service Code Section 1.14.
Mhm.
See Exhibit A. The only parcels eligible for maintenance, repair, or replacement of a grinder pump by the Village of Lisbon are listed in Exhibit B. no additional parcels shall be added.
So essentially what's already in.
Uh,
Except that the exhibit is not in the code.
Neither exhibit are in the code.
How many houses is he talking about in the exhibit
I
I think
don't,
there's like.
that are grandfathered?
32 comes to mind.
That would be grandfathered?
32.
Well, that's all of them.
32
but-
that we would have to maintain.
But now don't
I
forget,
thought
since
there was
this,
only 30 something to start with.
don't
Because we
forget,
haven't had any new grinder pumps added.
Oh.
no, that's what I said. Don't forget now, these homes have changed hands over the years, So I don't feel an allegiance to those myself, the people that actually paid their money to go in and have the sewer installed. Those homeowners are gone. Rick and I have been in our house 51 years, so we're a little older, but most of the houses have changed hands all this time. I'd like to get this taken care of. I'm asking for your help to do that.
I don't think it should be forever.
What's forever?
The grandfathered ones get replaced until the house burns down.
no,
Are we reading this
yeah,
correct?
I think
This sounds weird.
Yeah,
At most, I could see you get one last replacement, check you off the list, you got replaced and you're done.
no, I myself think, well, why wouldn't, in 2020, that should have been happened because and it was at a standstill on everything. So it's costing the district more money every time someone gets a grinder pump repair that we shouldn't have had replaced. And I guarantee you, our costs are gonna go up this fall. I know they're gonna go up to pay for all those grinder pumps.
What's the significance of 2020? Why is that the cutoff?
that was when we were at town and first we did a public meeting
Yeah.
and that was the date that we decided.
Yep.
Was the.
It was picked
sunset.
out by who? I didn't pick it out.
It was by the town board.
Yeah.
So
picked it
I
out.
guess I want to make sure I understand. So are we talking about if you have a new grinder pump system installed? Or are we talking about if you actually have the actual pump is replaced, and then it's considered
Yes,
new?
no,
Everything.
I think no, but no, there's a distinction there, and I
there
think
is.
that's where I said something, and then you corrected me. I'm not.
I'm absolutely with you, Matt. The way we removed that is we got into a long debate about what is transfer of ownership. What happens if somebody has, say, just for term, a husband, wife want to transfer their property from their name to a trust? Is that a transfer of ownership? Our attorney at the time advised that you do not want to get into those because that will create individual
Right.
cases of review.
Right.
So, if you had one and you changed from being just a singular person to a trust, is that transfer of ownership because you now entrusted it to somebody? He said at the time it was not worth the legal review fees or court battles to do that. So that's why we picked just a singular date. And even if you had 4 grinder pumps replaced prior to the July 1st, 2020, you only get one more because it would be after that date. So
One more after the date?
yeah, so say you had 4 installed prior to July
Mhm.
1st, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We had been paying for those.
It's coming back to me now.
And now you want your 5th grinder pump,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
post July 1st, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your last one forever.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter about transfer of ownership,
Mhm.
doesn't matter if your house burns down, doesn't matter if somebody steals your grinder pump,
Mm-hmm.
right?
see that.
With the cost of everything, you never know.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is that's why we didn't want to he recommended to keep it clean and clear so that we did not get into any litigious battles of that kind. Because
Mhm.
if you make a date, it doesn't matter what the scenario is, you have a date.
Yeah, that makes
And-
what I was talking about.
And
So basically, we would potentially have to replace every
Yes.
grinder pump.
Yeah.
no, because there has been several replaced post 2020 that would never get replaced again.
Okay, so how many are we talking about?
I don't have an updated list. My last list is from
So
2020.
there was 32 grinder pumps. So-
No, that
Homeowners.
32 is not a qualifying list. That is an incumbent list of all grinder pumps. That is
Those other
not,
come-
Okay,
that is not an eligible list.
okay,
No.
I'm just looking for what the total
I don't have this.
liability.
No,
Homes have grinder
she's
pumps.
saying who could be The liability.
That's
Who's the life?
complicated. I think that's complicated myself.
Then
I just-
come up with a better scenario, but that was I guess you're just saying shut the faucet off on these people.
It's been 6 years since this has been going on, as you know, we just read. To me, I just cut it off. I would just cut it off.
You would just cut it off, or you would say that someone who hasn't gotten one in the past still gets
Well,
one?
that's what I said, but.
No, I mean, okay, well, I mean,
Yeah.
so I guess there's a minor difference, but
Okay, I'm okay with if someone has never had the grinder pump replaced, do we say from the original owner? I don't know.
no,
So that is not gonna work. We've already
Right.
explored that
Right.
because
Very few.
we do not have quality records to
That's
prove or
my next
disprove.
question.
Exactly.
Therefore, the attorney recommended we do not get into that battle because one, our records are horrible, and two, now we're battling ownership again.
I know.
So that's why the date
Yeah.
came and that was
that's
that
what
was the
I
most.
Yeah, I
But it-
remember.
Well,
those
it's
now.
See,
22 eligible.
but we've done 10 of them in the last 6 years.
Yeah, there are 2 of them I know of this year that we've done that I have.
So that makes.
just did one
$500
again.
apiece.
Yeah, so once I update.
$5,000, we just did another one.
So,
So if this went to the utility committee meeting next time for an actual recommendation, I mean, not that it has to, but if it did.
They've said,
It was, he said they made a recommendation. Was the recommendation to make this change or was the recommendation to not make the change? I mean, you can recommend it either way.
The recommendation was that,
Was
which
it-
that went to the board and the board chose not to place it in code.
this
They-
board,
because
No,
of,
the previous board,
yeah,
not this current sitting.
Right.
because of because of the principle of it or because of the logistics of the logistics. Okay, so the principle they were not opposed to.
No,
It's-
but they were also at the end of their terms and they wanted it to be up to the next board,
yeah,
and here we are.
well, if we agree with it in principle, this is the reason people think government's dopey, because we're just gonna like not do it because it's not convenient for a code thing. We're doing it because it's right or it's wrong.
So
right.
if,
We're doing it or we're not doing it because it's right.
Exactly.
what's the requirement of what has to happen in the code? I mean, is it that much of a burden?
I mean, honestly, we have, if every grinder pump installed after 2020, you install it once and you never install it again. I mean, you could consider just installing all the
Oh.
grinder pumps and then be done with it, but. Otherwise, no, the code, you'd have to modify or remove that section of code. And then just. Remove liability from the village, so you would.
And we just added to it when everything is changed.
So you modify section 32.05, para D, para 5. That's where it references the July 1st, 2020 deadline, and then say all grinder pumps be repaired and maintained by owners.
And that just requires a vote of the board.
Yes.
I guess we gotta figure out if we wanna do the everybody gets one free.
I think
Left
keeping that
up
July
people
1st,
or
2020
spreading.
date in there makes sense.
No, not to me, I'm sorry.
Well, no, how do you,
I would just, I myself, I wouldn't even give it a date. Like if you put, okay, let's give them a little time, January 1st. Well, what happens to those people on January 2nd? They're gonna complain that that theirs isn't replaced. We're always gonna have a problem with the date.
so it's either July 1st, 2020, or it's
No.
nothing, no one gets one.
With the reason why we didn't post, like set a date to be eclipsed in the future is because of the fact that there would be people qualifying that would run
Sure.
anything and everything down their grinder pump.
Yes,
And break it
And
purposely.
intentionally sabotage it, and now we are on the burden to
Yes.
prove or disprove
Yeah.
their negligence
Yes.
or a mechanical failure.
yes,
Yeah, I remember this discussion now.
yeah.
So
So it's an issue.
I mean, this has been exhausted.
I'm tired of this.
But right, but I mean, the current code, Dan, you wanted to read it?
Yeah, it's in the village for all grinder pumps installed by the former sanitary district on or before July 1st, 2020 shall. Maintain, repair, and if necessary, replace the grinder pump subject to the following conditions. Property owner shall consent to entry upon property serviced by the grinder pump of employees. Contractors employed by the village for the purpose of maintaining, repairing, and or replacing the grinder pump. The property owner annually consents to the inspection of the grinder pump. And the property owner complies with all rules, regulations, policies adopted by the village for the operation and use of the grinder.
we're inspecting these every year?
So that was a practice we discontinued because the inspections were not, the inspections were not worth the juice and squeeze kind of
Yeah.
principle.
It's,
We were paying for inspections to be done on pumps that hadn't failed or
Right.
weren't going to fail, and we didn't know when they were gonna fail. So we forewent
yeah,
all inspections and is determined it was just fiscally responsible to
Yeah.
wait till it happened.
for years we paid, I think it was $350 per grinder pump.
Well,
So
I
this
think-
is not,
I think this code section does not necessarily reflect what maybe the board's intention is. Because the way it's read, if I'm looking at this from a resident, is that you're going to maintain, replace, repair my grinder pump. Because it was installed before 2020. In perpetuity,
Well, then do we have to qualify it one time only?
I would.
One
I would-
qualifying event and
Yeah.
you're done?
This is the existing code, or this is the what was
This one
proposed?
This is the exist.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
this is
can't
not.
be stuck on this forever.
Okay,
For
okay.
these pumps. We gotta put something on.
Yes.
How did that date come in if nothing was passed in
It could be.
2024?
I think, I don't know who
No,
did that. I
there was
wasn't part
there
of
was,
that.
the date of 2020 was approved.
Around that time.
But
around
we
2020.
never did an exhibit list or. So that there is no exhibits referenced in the code.
And that's too much bookkeeping and it.
But I mean, even if the exhibit list was placed in the code, it's still. Based on this language makes it seem like it's in perpetuity.
Well, then we have to add language that it's one qualifying event or however you
Yeah, we
legally
either,
state that.
we either gotta figure out if we're cutting it off now or we're giving everybody one. Basically, those are the two choices we got.
And then you sunset it eventually too, you leave it open forever, like.
Why, can I ask why you would, why would you have the residents pay one more grinder pump repair, one more replacement, one more whatever? Is it a replacement? Is it a repair? Is it this or is it that? You know, there's a lot of questions.
I'm just saying, those are the two main ideas that make sense to me.
I know.
That make any sense. There's other ones that I don't think would work.
Yeah.
I think those are the two viable options we have.
I personally think this has gone on far enough, long enough. I myself would vote for it. We have to cut it off.
Right, so that's what Linda is. Mark, you're on the committee as well. What's your thought?
I mean, I'm still with where the attorney's at in 2024. I don't think it's that far off from our current code, but they're just, the way it's currently written, I think there's loopholes that could be exercised and I mean, that's why we forewent these inspections because they were just costing money and yeah, there is a lot of history. There's a lot of lack of documentation of the history that we had to make up for, and that's kind of where the current code was. I'm not opposed to reworking the code, but I am also not. I guess I'm not in favor of just completely cutting it off. I think there has to be a criteria to it, and it's got to be a simple criteria, kind of much in line with what we already currently have.
So if we go with that date though, then there would be 10 homeowners that would be cut off and never get another one moving forward.
10?
Yes. If there's 32 total and 10 have been replaced in the last 6 years, then we would still say we would replace 22 more that have not been replaced in the last 6 years. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's how I understood that.
That's the way it's written right now. Right, Dan?
No, that's the way it's written in the.
Well, I mean,
attorney
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
There's 12 that have been replaced.
12.
12 been replaced since 2020, July 1st, 2020.
Okay.
So that
And how many outlying grinder pumps were installed by the sanitary district on or before July 1st, 2020?
That are currently out there?
Is that 20?
One,
I gave you
Wait.
that big whole sheet. I gave you all that work.
that have been replaced? I thought it was the 12.
No, that haven't.
Oh, I haven't showed it. Hopefully that was on. Oh, 'cause there's duplicate.
21 or 22, I gotta count which ones, because this is only updated to the in January of this year. I don't remember if we did 2 or 3 this year.
But anything after 2020, July 1st, 2020 doesn't count because they were on their own. So any pump that's 6 years.
Right, but I'm saying that I counted 23, but I think we've replaced 2 of these that still show a date of 420. So I think we're around 2020 that were installed before July 2020.
So the fact that we've done, that numbers don't add up, to me, that sounds like we have replaced one of these grinder pumps twice in the last 6 years.
The only one I can think of is recently somebody had a grinder pump that was. I think there's 2. And one of them were trying to get money back from We Energies because it was an issue that they had a boring and then that clogged it up. So that one I'm not gonna count if we get the money back from We Energies or Michael Swiffer did. But there was one that just recently that was installed a year ago that we just had to. Put it in pump.
And can you state for the record too, not all of the 32 are in people's homes? Can you state how many are outside of the homes?
No, I have no idea.
I believe there, I don't know.
You mean
I
like
think-
that are in like the road?
That are in the
like,
private,
lateral
the
or-
private,
I believe they're in the home.
not all of them.
Cause we have some just in like by Bramble that we were talking about that there was grinder pumps that were in lateral.
Yes.
I don't know how many.
It's say that in Bramble, you just heard what?
So when we,
So when we discussed Gulf Hills Drive, remember we had somebody that wanted to hook
Yes,
up?
yeah.
There are some individual force mains that have a grinder pump that are outside of the home, but they're still in their lateral, so they're still on
Okay,
the property of the homeowner.
the property, okay.
Do we have installation dates of all these other pumps?
We
Like,
have
verify we
eight
didn't-
placed in service dates.
Not going way back though, do you? Well, wait a minute.
Every single
Yes,
grinder pump.
yes, yes, yes,
that
yes.
We have installation.
So I think the board can reach a consensus, and then we take formal action on it at the next meeting, that we either leave it so that the sanitary or so that the sanitary district is paying for all of them moving forward, like they are now effectively, that they're paying for none, and the homeowners are responsible for everything, or we have it as a date. I mean, those are the 3 options that we have.
yeah, let me,
The other option, can we just offer a payout to get them off of it and say that we're closing this and give them $1,000? Call it a day. That's a lot better than our
I
liability.
think Linda's gonna be on that one.
I think so.
Yeah.
So here, these were, so back in 2024, we did come up with, a few options. Option 1, the property owner is responsible for all maintenance and replacement of the grinder pumps and sewer laterals to the property line. This was the proposed new code approved by the committee. 2, the village is responsible for those original sewer grinder pump connections done before 2020 for replacement of grinder pumps. And property owners are responsible for biannual maintenance and repairs. Option 3, the village is responsible for those original sewer connections done before 2020 for maintenance and replacements through 2030. Or 4, the village is responsible for maintenance and replacement for those original sewer connections done before 2020. This was in the sanitary district code.
I'm not sure if I understood all of that. Did everybody else or just me?
No, I think we went through it pretty quickly. I'm not, I
We had talked about a sunset date.
So the sunset date was 2030.
Yeah.
Well, I know you had talked about that and I said, oh, that's ridiculous. Myself, it's too far out. I said it at the time.
that far now, but
I know, it doesn't sound that far now, but why? We have paid 37 years. Why?
no,
Why
I'm not,
stick it out,
I'm not
guys?
advocating one position or the other.
But why?
If you have a sunset date that far out, people will forget to clog their pumps up on purpose to get a new one.
I think there's a sensitivity to the cost of these grinder pumps and the fact that somebody that never has had to maintain them before, or somebody that owns their house outright that might think that $6,500 is a huge expense that they've never had to pay for.
Exactly,
So
like a sewer,
there's-
like a septic system to everybody else here,
Right.
like a well pump. We all know it costs money. That's the cost of owning a home. They know it when they're ahead of time.
I mean, one thing we also are forgetting historically is when we were a sanitary, all district members paid in a fee that,
$48.
that some never even got back.
Right, but $48, but that has stopped
Right.
when we became a village.
Well, it stopped when we became a utility.
Oh, well,
There's a tax,
Next one we're doing.
there's a $48 stormwater fee on everyone's
Storm-
tax bill.
That's different.
But there was a tax levy though, that has gone away.
yes.
Sewer levy.
Sewer levy.
Sorry, a sewer levy, that was a tax
We
on
said
that
we
tax
can't
bill.
do it.
from
It's
the district.
illegal. We can't do it because we're a village.
Yeah.
I don't, know, I'm not an attorney. I have no idea. But that kind of surprised
I
me.
mean,
Because it's our utility now, we make our revenue based on our fees.
Alright, so where do we wanna go? I mean, Linda's made her position clear. Is everyone, we haven't, I mean, we're not taking formal action, but we can kind of reach a consensus and take formal action later, so are we there, or do we wanna do something more in line with what was written up before, or nothing? I mean, I don't know who wants to start.
I think we should do something. I don't think we should kick the can down the road anymore, whatever it is, something should's gotta get done.
What do you think that something should be?
I was in the bathroom, missed most of the discussion. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I think the date, the 2020 date makes sense. Because, again, I don't know how you spring it on people and just like all of a sudden cut them off from it. I think you'd have a lot of really angry people. So I guess that's where I would fall on it.
But are we cutting off the 2020 date too for them? We're still cutting off the date.
Yeah, well, I mean, then maybe change the date. I don't, make it so yet there's very few left in there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
it sounds
okay,
like
let's-
the code has to be amended no matter what,
Right.
either to. Fix the issue of the in perpetuity, so why don't we, staff can present some options based on the discussions that we've had here and then kind of present that to the board.
Well, I think we can kind of reach a good, Rob, where are you at?
Is there a way that you can just do the, if they never got replaced, they get one?
Well,
and
Linda
that's
was
the only
talking about-
people?
No, Mark said that we can't because we don't have good records. We don't know that. That's what the attorney said. So it's gotta be, there's gotta be a date.
So you did have.
I
at
mean,
least-
that's
you
what I
were
heard.
at
I'm not
least
gonna
thinking
be.
But then
Make
how do we
some
have
people
install
whole if they
dates?
needed a grinder.
The original.
We got some of them,
was
not
never-
going back
We
20
don't
years,
we
or.
can't do that because we don't have
Right.
records.
We have all installed dates on all.
Okay.
That was it.
So you
Oh.
did have it in your head that we would do it for some
All 32?
people if they,
Yeah.
The original
Okay.
people.
right,
The only
okay.
ones are the ones I haven't updated yet from this year.
I'm thinking that way it would be fair and easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we shouldn't be talking over each other, but is that news to you, Mark, that we do have dates on all 32?
no, we have dates of install, but we don't know if they're original dates of install. Like, I think what Linda's saying is if they've never had one, correct me if I'm wrong, if they've never had one and the original owner, they get one.
Yeah.
But if we
that-
have dates of install for all 32 and then some of those dates
But
were
now, yeah,
original.
but we don't have a property record. We'd have to go through every property record and determine if they are.
We don't have records like that. Only thing we have is the chart I gave Dan.
You're talking about original to the home?
That's what that was what.
I mean, they're all the dates are 2012 or later. Their grinder pumps don't last that long, so they've.
So
all
there's
been
no, so they've all been
replaced.
replaced. So
everybody-
that point's irrelevant then.
Yeah.
So then every single one of them have been replaced at least once.
You were making it sound like, Linda, that there's some 37-year-old pumps here.
Well, that's what we had talked about originally. There was only a couple original that has never been done. That's what
No.
I was told.
The originality was the homeowner, not the
Homeowner.
pump,
Oh,
which is a difference.
Oh, yeah.
They could have had 6 or 7 pumps, but as
Yeah.
long as they were original owners, they
Yeah.
were.
Unless we have a brand new homes that were built 2012 or later in the sewer district in that area, but I don't
Yeah.
think there are any new.
I don't think there are any
Not
of
that
it.
they didn't have to worry about that part.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm fine with either one of these options. I mean, Mark, where are you? You are as well, or do you have a preference between Linda's or?
I mean, now that I know
Paul's?
everybody's has been replaced 6 to 12 times, I'd say we just cut it off.
It hasn't.
Just vote as if you were, only thing I ask is vote if you were and paying these fees and you were paying for it. So look at it that instead of just on paper, oh, I don't know, I'll just vote this way. Look at it as if you were paying those fees and how unfair it
Then
is.
cut it
That's
off right now.
That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
But Linda, I have also heard about the designing of the system and that the system was designed
Awful.
was designed awfully, but it was designed cheaper it could have been designed more expensive for everybody and there wouldn't have been grinder pumps.
Yeah,
So, but because some of these houses, because it was designed cheaper, these houses had the grinder pumps that saved everyone money originally. And now there are grinder pumps and some of these that are fall on the burden of these 32 properties, whereas the remaining 420 benefit from the cheaper system, original construction costs. I've heard that as well. So
Mhm.
that's, and maybe we'll hear that again when we,
But they didn't go as deep as maybe they should have.
right, because if we would have gone deeper, then we wouldn't have needed these grinder pumps,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So that's,
yeah,
I mean, I
They've
understand.
been paying the sewer fees all these years. Hasn't that cost equaled itself out by now?
yeah.
The cost, but I mean, everyone saved on this system because it was more cheaply designed.
I think if you were gonna fix the problem, you would redo the whole entire system. And then, well, I'm serious, I
Right.
mean, and so
Mm.
that's.
I'm
that's an
moving.
There's
alternative.
option 3.
I'm moving. Seriously, I'm moving.
Mark, where are you at?
There is gonna be a handful of people, as Linda stated, that are gonna bring in this 1992 agreement, and it does read the sanitary district shall assume responsibility for maintenance of the grinder pumps provided the sanitary sewer lateral and grinder pump has been installed in accordance with the maintenance policy.
Isn't that null and void since we don't have a sanitary district anymore?
Well, we assume their policy.
Right, thank you, Rob.
No, that's.
We have
don't know. I don't know.
district anymore. Never thought of that.
I don't know if that's how that works or not. Just.
But that doesn't mean that it can't change. How many times does a municipality change things because it doesn't, it's just too expensive, it doesn't work?
I mean,
anymore.
I would definitely.
Did they sign a contract, Mark?
Yeah, good luck. This was all we could find back then. They brought in a document that was unverified.
Right,
We don't know based off records if it was ever approved and.
yep.
So we're gambling then.
No, I don't think, I guess if you make a date certain in the future and you don't put any situations attached to it, like whether it was an original homeowner, if they've had it replaced, if it's been prior to or after 2020, I think you can get by with it. And then you just have to put in there a negligence clause.
In the future, though, you're saying not in the future, you don't like this July 1st, 2020 date, you want it to be in the future?
I would say keep the July 1st, 2020 date and also sunset it.
Okay.
But do it for like next week. Don't put it way out. Do it soon.
No, well, that doesn't make
Fast.
it, I mean,
Well, I mean, I think there are people that do remember this agreement. There's people that bought their homes under this premise. That there's gonna be a lot of people in here talking about this and
No, no,
I do think it's responsible to at least, I mean, they were given notice. But if we're gonna completely cut it off, I think we give them a date.
so let's do that. I mean, I would be, based on what I'm hearing everyone else, and a compromise to me makes sense, is sticking with the July 1st, 2020 date. So that's 20 to 22-ish that we'd still be on the hook for. But if they don't get them replaced by the 2030 date that was in the previous proposal, then we're not paying them for them after that. So if they make it that long, then we're
within 30
And it can't
days,
be just the major way.
I was saying 2030 in 4 years.
2030.
which is what the proposal was from the board or the attorney when you looked at this a couple of years ago.
We could potentially be replacing them 1 a year until for
Yeah.
4 years,
Mm.
is what we're saying.
Or you could be replacing,
22,
6,
not
5 or 6 a year for the next 4 years.
Or you make it a shorter date. I mean, that's up to the board. I mean,
That was Dan's idea.
what?
Well, no, but it came from the attorney or something else. It came from the attorney or Kathy or the sanitary district.
It's been brought up before, it's not something that came pulled out of thin air.
I think 30 is way out.
Back in 2018 and 2019 about this, and we talked about a sunset clause on it, so.
And then can we put a stipulation in like 1 in that if we do 2030 you're entitled to 1?
I think that's the way it's
Because
written.
the install date would be after the cutoff.
It's
Right.
not how it's written, but you should clean it up so it is written.
Well, I would,
Okay, so I think you've got a consensus. You understand where we're at, I mean, where the majority of the board's at. That's kind of a compromise that gets almost all the way that you're there. It's gonna make people here be have a little bit of a compromise. You're still welcome to make the motion at the next meeting, Linda, to
Oh, I see. I got very far with that one. I'm not gonna get very far with that one.
I think part of the problem is, as Mark's pointing out, if we try to cut it directly off, we're opening ourselves up to
But-
litigation.
I just asked if we don't extend it out to 2030.
what date makes sense to you?
28. Compromise.
The end of or beginning of January 1st or December 31st?
28.
So we got, so next year's our last year.
That's it.
So write the proposal up, how we said with those previous dates, write it with January 1st to 28th. If the board wants to amend it to a different date to 29, 30, whatever, at the next meeting, we can certainly do that. But it's something on paper for us to discuss.
So if, just a point of clarification, if they've had one replaced post July 1st, 2020,
If they had it post,
Then they're
changed
not
after.
are they done?
They're done,
They're
done.
done.
They're done.
They're done.
Do they,
That's the way I
does,
understood it.
who,
So that-
Me too.
Natasha, does she know
Yeah.
all of this? Or do you know all,
of what?
the date? Have we
Dan
replaced,
has all the dates.
have we replaced any of those? Okay,
We replaced about
We're
within
gonna-
11 people.
12.
Yeah, 11.
12 to 13. We-
Right.
We're gonna be on the hook for 20 to 22 of them, possibly 132,000 to 150,000, depending how much it is and how far we go.
And we'll be paying $350 on a 3-month fee now
for?
for our user fees to pay all these costs with everything else that we have to pay. No, I'm just saying, we're gonna be paying more money, that's all, for our monthly, our 3-month fee that we pay for our user fees. We pay user fees every 3 months.
Why, who makes that go up?
That goes up every time our
$180.
costs go up. It's $180 now.
That's the sewer fee.
That's the sewer fee. We pay every 3 months.
That's not for grinder pumps. That's not entirely for grinder. pumps.
Everybody pays $180 for their sewer every 3 months.
And you're saying that's the money that's used to pay for the
And that's-
grinder pump.
I mean-
That's everybody's money. It's everybody's money that we have got the 1.2 million actually, and we'll go over that the next one if you want to go, if it's getting too late, we'll wait till next meeting. But I'm just saying that whatever money we have on hand in the sewer fund pays for the grinder pumps. The $180 is the fee that we have to pay into Sussex and so forth and pay for our regular expenses we have to pay.
Okay.
And once they go up, we had to raise it this last year and it's gonna be raised again this year. There's no doubt about it. It will be raised.
So with what we're doing right now, does that have any effect on the fees?
Well, you better believe it would.
Well, no, but if we did nothing, the fees would be higher, right? If we did nothing, the fees would be higher because but if we take this action at the next meeting, we are reducing future costs. So we're gonna have less, you're gonna have less
In
of
the
an,
future, if you do it and say, hey, we're not gonna pay for these grinder pumps anymore, yes.
right, so this
Yes.
is, if we take this action, it is a net positive to.
Yes.
Yes, it's a
Should
net
it-
positive.
And we're only
We're fun.
replacing them if they're legitimately broken. We're not replacing them
Well, it's.
What?
if a kid stuffs a bunch of toys down there or a homeowner says they want a new one.
So there is a variable that reduces the cost to that in the sense that we're not, we used to just direct replace everything. We have undertaken a policy where when we pull the unit, we may install a refurbished
Right.
unit.
Yeah.
So we're not entirely replacing the $6,000 pump anymore. We might be replacing it with a pump on hand.
Yeah, that's fine.
Does the code have to stipulate that? Because the homeowner would be like, it's not a new one.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Not
should
their
Yeah, so
that-
make
It doesn't say
Not their
do
choice.
It just says replace. Okay.
but we're not necessarily gonna be on the hook for all 22 of these by 28
We
because they
might
have to
be.
be actually
You
broken.
guys said however many
We
are
might be.
repaired
Well,
or replaced.
But they actually have to legitimately break.
Well, if
Yeah.
22 aren't legitimately
if
gonna
12 of
break.
them have broken the last 6 years, you would think that we're not gonna have 22 break in the next
Oh,
1
but
year.
Our estimate is we replace 2 to 3 every year.
Yeah. So if we
And
set
we
this-
have 2 available to replace.
So if we set
We
this for
have the
28,
ability to determine whether or not it's negligence based
Yeah.
on now that we get them repaired.
if we got a Lego set in there, that's gonna be negligence.
That is done much better now than it was done in the beginning, let me tell you. Much better. We paid for things that shouldn't have been
Because
done.
that's
right
because
now.
normally you just take the pumps and scrap them now.
DeBellick used to just take them out and put a new one in and
Are we ready to move on to sewer, to item E?
Yeah, so I even feel better about that now.
Okay.
So can we clarify, staff will present options for adoption on this, Dan?
Yeah, I'll draft the code and run it to the attorney. Do you want options or do you want the option of what we discussed with a January 1st,
Yeah, I like
2028
that.
sunset and making sure the January for the June 2020 date is not in perpetuity.
July, I think we'll,
Yeah,
mark by July 1st, yes, right?
Yeah, that would be the cutoff, and then negligence isn't covered.
Is there any, so that, I think that's what we want, but is there anything else you want the attorney or Dan to research as an alternative to possibly discuss?
Can you present Attorney Larson with Attorney Macy's findings from?
Yeah, can you forward me that document that you haven't already?
This is truly how the sausage gets made, huh? So to speak.
I'm sorry to keep you so long.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. I think it's,
I've been stressing over this for so long,
well, look, we're gonna do something about it.
and Mark knows it.
All right, so,
You
yeah, we're ready to move on, I
know
think.
it.
So item E is discussion regarding the village responsibility for various sewer utility
I
costs.
think we should wait for Rob to come back. You want me to wait for Rob, or I can start talking? It has just been discovered by me that I had no idea that the sewer fund is paying for the fire station costs for their sewer, repairs, everything. And that is totally unfair why the sewer fund is paying for the fire station. Those should come out of either the village's money or the fire station fund, not the, and I request, this has been going on as far as we know since we became a village. And whoever did that we have no idea who it is that said, hey, the sewer district is going to be paying for the fire station,
It was 65, 35, but the
35.
35 was the town, and now it's the sanitary district.
Yeah, it's a
Or not sanitary district, but that's the
It's a sewer fund, say the
sewer
sewer
fund,
fund,
right,
so we
right,
know.
yes.
The sewer fund is paying that, and that's really not appropriate. I think we should be reimbursed for every cost we paid to reimburse the sewer fund. It's not fair, we have paid that.
So I looked into this and I think it started because the 2025 budget had no sewer costs associated with the fire station. Probably because it was made for the contract. So I think it started back in October of 2020. So I did just some research on how much money is paid this year because it's really hard to recover costs from last year, given that the books have been closed and the audit's been completed. So the cost of the Richmond split with the 35-65 has been $1,339.35. And then the Richmond fire station flows, which is a monthly charge in our commercial bill. I look back at every month from January to this month, and it's $303.70. So a total, if you're looking at paying out of the village's share, would be $1,643.05. I've already put in a budget item for next year. If we want to continue, if we want to have the village pay for the fire station costs associated with their usage and with their share of the force main at a $3,000 budget line item.
How about for the new pumps that we just had taken out and put it out? That's more than $1,000, or so I'm a little confused, Dan.
Because I went through the budget code of what we take those pumps out of, and it's because of the 35-65
I know
split.
that, yeah.
That's what I got when I added up in our accounting software. So
I-
that might be a little higher, maybe one of those,
There's been a lot of pumps taken out over the last couple of years. And that they had to take them out. They had to take them out and take them up north, to the,
those are grinder.
yeah, but they had to take something out.
It was Brabazon, we did.
Yeah, Brabazon,
We did one
yeah,
this year, and I think
yes.
that was
Yes,
included cost. We
That's-
didn't have to pay for the full
yeah.
pump, we had to. pay
I-
for the
I-
repair on it.
if I was a betting woman, I would say that was more than that. though,
Well,
yeah.
double check the costs and check, but remember that.
Because we
Divide
paid-
that number by 35%, you're looking at somewhere around $5,000 for total costs
Mhm.
related to.
I just don't think the sewer fund should pay for it at all. There's no reason for. or to be paid for. But-
Was a formal policy made by the board in 2024 to make this change, or was it a staff?
I think it was probably a bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Issue that happened.
And I didn't know this until I talked to, until I questioned something, and that's when he said, well, the sewer fund pays. I said, what? The sewer fund pays for this?
So,
That's where,
so we're, if we wanted to address this one way or the other, we could have it at the next meeting agenda, or does it need to be? I mean, or,
I can just come up with like a budget amendment that. And then, civil policy that would say that all fire station expenses regarding force main and flows would be paid out of the fire department. Or the.
so I guess
fire sewer
in the
budget.
fact that we approved, this board and the previous boards have approved the fire department budget that didn't include the sewer costs, I guess indirectly or directly, that it was considered, but so.
So we could just do a budget amendment and put in the costs this year at the next meeting. So you do a budget amendment to add, $3,000 to the expenditure costs in the sewer fund for the fire department. And there is a budget item for it. It just wasn't budgeted for in 2025, and then when I did the budget in 26, I saw there was nothing that I didn't think we could add it. So.
why can't we go back a year before? Just because everything's closed, but why can't we go back and look at the figures?
I mean, the audit is completed, so I mean, you're going back and taking money from one area that's been audited. I mean, the board can consider it if they want to. I can pull those numbers.
I mean, my preference would be just to deal with this in 2027 moving forward. I mean, I think if we go back and do it for 26, that's one thing. I don't want to go back I'm sympathetic to what you're saying, but I don't think that
We're talking about $5,000.
Yeah,
we're talking about 35% of 5,000.
no,
Oh,
So
35% is $5,000.
$1,643. I don't know what the total of last year was.
Yeah.
I'd have to look.
gosh,
Are you talking about the village paying the,
the village should be
back?
paying it.
are you talking about the village paying the sewer fund back for the,
Yes, we should.
So for 26, so I think are we all in agreement that we will change the way we're budgeting for 27
Yes.
moving forward?
definitely.
Okay, so we're all on the same page there. When you develop the budget, you're gonna have, okay, good. So the question is, do we want to make a change for 26? That's really the only question that, or 20, and we want to go back for 25. I'd say leave 25 alone.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we want to do for 26? Where are you at, Mark, on that?
The books are open, so why not just correct it?
We can just correct it.
Well, it's not a large amount.
Yeah, it's really-
You don't need to do a.
We don't need to
for
do a
that,
budget
do we?
amendment.
Because then we're,
Depends on how clean you want the books, and otherwise, no.
because if we did $3,000 allocation for expenses in the fire department, then we're also would have to take a $3,000 additional transfer from the general fund. Right,
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to. I'm just saying, if you want it really clean, you can do it that way. Otherwise, there's zero money budget for it. So just know that you're gonna be over budget by $3,000 in the sewers.
How are the auditors gonna wanna see it?
They'll be fine either way.
What's easier for staff?
Just let me make the change. I'll just update you that it's been done at the next board meeting.
I don't want to go through the hassle of, or just, it just doesn't seem as clean to do that budget amendment. So I think if we have this discussion here and we have a consensus that that's what we're gonna do is have the village pay for it in 26. I don't think we,
26?
this year,
Okay.
that we don't think we need any formal action since formal action wasn't taken otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just send a general email to the board and black copy everyone. If I do, I'll go back and look at the budget code to make sure that number is right. If it's incorrect for whatever reason and it's higher than that, I'll just let the board know.
Because there's been a lot of costs, in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong.
Some of those are directly billed to Richmond too at not
Oh, I know.
6535.
Oh, I know.
too.
I know.
I have a feeling that if we build every cost to the sewer fund, it would be way more than what we do.
Mhm.
If we actually accounted for every single minute of staff time devoted
Oh, yeah.
to.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. No,
I think the sewer fund is.
You know, the 26th is fine, you don't go back. That's, nothing, you know. As long as we correct it now. I appreciate it.
All right, so
Okay.
you have this agenda as various sewer utility costs.
Yep.
Is that,
Nope, that's not.
okay,
Okay, then the next paragraph, I don't know if you all are aware, the sewer district came over here with $1,200,000. So far, we paid off about $800,000 for the upgrade for the Sussex plant. And this is the first time in 30 years we've ever had to do that. There's another $24,000 that's due. This is actually going to bankrupt us, the sewer fund, because if that money was set aside per the state, we have to keep so much money on hand for repairs. We have to do that. If we break up a road and have to go into the road, we're looking at a couple $100,000 just by breaking up the road, having somebody there doing whatever they need to do and checking the problem. We're going to have to start borrowing money because we paid off this upgrade thing that's going to benefit everybody that's coming on. Because here we're talking about we're talking about this is going to benefit the people. And I also talked to Dan about this and he said, well, we don't do it now, but we'll do it when it happens and then we'll reimburse the fund. But at that time, why would you reimburse? I think it should be done. We should have help now where it benefits the people online. So we're not have to borrow money to do some repairs that's going to be necessary down the road, being an older system. I'm shocked that we don't have issues because of how bad the system was installed originally. And I just think something needs to be done. I know when this started, the town of Lisbon took over the loan. They took out the loan for everything to buy into the plant, and we had to pay them back. It took us, everyone could go on a payment plan for 10 years. And that's what we did. So nobody had that kind of money to do it. And so I'm just asking, why does a sewer fund have to pay it all? You know, why can't the village step forward and say, hey, okay, we are going to be expanding our district and this is going to be a fun. And I want some fair play. Why do the 452 people, homeowners have to be paying this $824,000 alone?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Because it's a sewer cost.
Okay.
And it's not a cost of people that are not on sewer currently.
Okay.
And if the board took action on this before I was here, and you had Ellers come in and give you an option. You could borrow or you could take it from the reserves.
Right.
Decided to take it from the reserves.
Well, yeah, because
You'd be
otherwise
paying back the money anyways after
Yeah.
you borrowed for it.
Yeah.
Over sewer rates,
Right.
over a long period of time,
Right.
which is exactly what we're doing now.
Right.
You're paying it back over a long period of time over sewer rates. And as soon as, yes, you get expand your sewer service area, get more sewer customers online,
Mhm.
they pay a connection fee. Part of that connection fee is to replenish the cost of future expenses for sewer, just as you did back
Yeah.
when you bought into the sewer district.
We were the only ones in it in the town here. And so it wasn't the whole area. We had to pay our fair share. Not a dollar came out of the citizens' pockets. We paid for it over whatever. And the town made sure that they took out a loan for it. I'm just saying, when I talked to you originally, Dan, you had said that we could get reimbursed as new people come online. And now you're not saying that anymore.
I just said that new users are going to pay fees to get online, which is going to help supplement costs for future
Okay.
use and
Right.
for the capacity that they're using,
Okay,
which is essentially the same thing.
Is the sewer fund ever going to be reimbursed ever from future uses for that $825,000 that we're forced to pay?
It will be made up over fees, and you're going to charge fees to new users
So
as well
we'll
as
be
fees
part
that
of
you're.
that. So when that happens in years down the road,
Yep.
it's going to benefit new people, not the people online. That's what I have a problem with.
And because you bought in a facilities upgrade, you had money in reserves to pay for it. When we spend money in general, the general fund, we buy a piece of equipment. We
You
don't
plan.
we don't then replenish
Yes.
that exactly for
Yeah.
the same amount that
Yeah.
we had.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we have enough money in there that's
Mhm.
legally required. If we
Mhm.
have more, great. We're
Mhm.
not trying to recover $800,000 from
Exactly.
sewer.
Exactly.
users.
I know that.
So no, we're not going to make sure that we
Mhm.
replace that whole entire amount. We're gonna make sure that we have enough that's required, and over time, that amount will build up.
I understand that,
But
but
fees go up.
yeah,
I mean,
I understand that. And that's why our fees are going up. Everybody's taxes are going up.
Yep.
That's indisputable. But I'm just saying that when we had time comes that we have to borrow money to fix a repair,
then we'll have to borrow it.
we will have to borrow it. And I'm just saying, I have even written on here the 825,000, even if we're split somehow to help the district out instead of bankrupting them and to borrow money down the road. And that's just what I'm saying.
Well, and we can certainly look at, if that situation comes up, we did the same thing with the TID. We borrowed money from ourselves to pay back for the TID. We could look at that as an option to save money for the utility if in case, interest rates are incredibly high that you don't want to borrow the money through Ellers or through
Mhm.
Waukesha State Bank or something like that. That's completely up to the board if they want to fund that project.
So the new people in a year or 2 or 3 are going to benefit from all the upgrades that the current people are using.
They're gonna pay an impact fee, or they're gonna pay a
Right.
$5,000, $10,000
Oh,
connection
yeah,
fee.
yeah,
That's going to, reimburse for a portion of that. That's what I heard said.
Yeah.
All the sewer users are coming out of the same pot, right? Even new ones that are.
Same
That's
time.
all-
No, I mean, so there's,
there's,
Like, yes, all.
It's not a new versus
Some-
old.
one
Yeah,
pot,
everybody's
right,
sharing the same.
right.
All
Yeah.
fund utility.
And I will point out, say there is a catastrophic failure in the old system under current day,
yeah,
that fund, if it is depleted, who's gonna be paying for it?
452 homes.
Everyone is gonna pay for
Oh,
it.
let me get this straight now. Say that again.
If there is a catastrophic failure that exceeds the current fund balance of the sewer fund, who has to pay for that?
I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, and thank you. I thought the sewer fund had to pay for that, the 452 homes. So you're saying the whole village pays for it.
Who is gonna pay for it?
That's what I'm saying.
Won't the sewer fund take out the loan?
If the sewer fund is depleted, who's gonna pay for it?
Exactly.
So there's only two options.
Yeah.
It's either user fees or everyone.
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
User fees.
but if you take out a loan, it's going to be paid back by the users of the sewer.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what it should be.
So therefore, why should the users of the sewer not pay for why should the users of the sewer not pay for the 800? Answer that question.
Because it's for the benefit of the future users for the village here. On K over here, there's a
it's just the
benefit
same-
from,
it's
from the
just-
new upgrades.
But it's also to preserve the prior infrastructure that was put in
Ooh,
place.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I understand they have to,
We have way more old users than we
Yeah.
do future users.
yeah,
And
probably you're right.
I
Because
mean,
it's never gonna happen again, what was happened to these people over here. It's never gonna happen.
I can totally sympathize if there's some new injustice that's going on, but we
Mhm.
don't have any
Mhm.
new users. I mean, they're so minimal.
Okay. I personally, and that's I just think because the town stepped up to help, that the village should stepped up to help rather than depleting this fund so much. That's all.
But
that was my-
in one thing, you're saying it's our money, let's use it only for us. But
Mhm.
then you're also saying if we don't have the money, everyone needs to help us.
Well, you said that, and mean, you said the village is gonna, if we have a
He
problem.
he did not say that. He was trying to
It
get.
was a hypothetical.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's what I understood. So, and I understand, and I don't want to go back and
There-
forth
there-
on this. It's just,
But we have to put this to bed.
okay,
There is no more sanitary district.
Oh, I
There
knew
is no
that.
more us of the old.
I
It
knew
is the
that.
we of the future.
I know that.
But you keep going back to it though.
It's the sewer fund.
Yeah,
It's a sewer fund
and
that
one day that's gonna be gone.
it will be gone because the 1.2 million that the sewer district bought over to the sewer fund is being depleted. The 1.2 million that Rick and I have hundreds of dollars in this thing. Other people have hundreds of dollars in this thing that we're depleting for the upgrade. And that we're paying for that directly. We are paying for that. Nobody else is.
Because you're the only ones using it.
But down the road, and I know that's your point, and I know nobody wants to pay for something they don't get. I understand that. But K over here is going to be sewered over here. you know.
Yeah, so then they would get lumped into this 452, and then it's gonna be 500 people or 600 or 10.
How are they gonna pay? How are they gonna help us replete our,
Not as much about how much goes in there, but if your pipe fails, the guy on K is gonna be helping pay for your pipe up there. And vice versa, if his pipe fails, you're gonna help pay for his.
But Linda, it's no
Everybody in the
different.
sewer is all together.
It's no different than what we talk about with failed septic systems or
Yeah.
failed wells or something like that. And from a personal standpoint, if I save up a bunch of money and I've got $50,000 in a bank account, and
Yeah.
yes, I did it,
yeah.
and then my well goes
I-
out, then
I-
there goes half of that,
Yeah.
it's depleted. I don't ask, well, who's gonna replace
Yeah.
it? It's gonna be the user, which is me, to replace the money that I've saved.
See, and then when this was set up years ago, there was a District 1 and a District 2. I don't know if you know that. Sanitary District number 1 is us on sewer now. District 2, that's really bad sewer systems, septic systems, is the one over off of, is it Richmond Road, that they're coming in with new wells that the quarry's paying for. We know that those septic systems are bad over there. We were told that. They were sanitary district number 2. And if each of the district had an issue, the issue, we would pay for our own, they pay for their own. That's how it was presented. So that's why I guess I just kind of, thinking, well, they're going to benefit from our upgrades that we're paying for. And we are paying for it on our backs. We are paying for it. Why can't we be reimbursed somewhat for that?
Yeah, it'd make more sense. The more users you have on a system type like this, you want more.
I guess let's relate it to a school district. Okay, I know we're not a school district, but a school district imposes a referendum today.
Mhm.
Next year, 10 new families come into the school district. How do they pay for their impact
Mhm.
on the system?
Mhm.
Through impact fees and user fees.
There's no impact fees in schools.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if we're equating it to a sewer
Mhm.
and saying there's an impact fee in the sewer that.
So can we have an impact fee then? That
We
will
do-
be attached? We make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's all part of the discussion with the sewer service amendment, is we're going to revitalize the code, which is why we kind of held it off, because we have to add.
I don't think any amount should be in there, though. Should it be the amount at the time? Because it might be too low. Are you gonna put a dollar amount for impact fee?
There will be a dollar amount, it'll be based on, future expended costs and, whatever else that both
Mhm.
kind of works with us on, but I mean, there's an impact fee and a sewer connection fee now, I mean.
So it'll be larger most likely
Most likely.
when we
yeah,
move forward,
but,
so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that will be in a pot of
Yeah.
money that will sit there
I-
and they might
guess
complain for the fact that they have to pay $25,000 and the original people only had to pay $15,000.
Hmm.
Or whatever it is.
And I understand your viewpoints, and I know I'm an odd duck.
I don't,
understand.
I guess here's my ask. I don't understand your viewpoint.
Okay,
What is the ask of the board today for this?
I guess for one thing, the important thing was that the fire station paid their costs. And then I wanted to talk about this $825,000 so we'll be left with that $375,000, one issue, that money's gone.
Okay, so
Now we have to
what
take.
what is the solution that you want the board to undertake?
Village to come in to help, since they took out a loan in the beginning.
Help with what though?
If we have any issue that we're bankrupt, because we paid off the 825,000. And people on K over here is gonna benefit from the 825,000 improvement, because there's always continuous expenses that we have paid over the years, yes, to Sussex, but nothing like this $825,000. So this is a 30-year project that they're doing, that they have to upgrade,
But we don't have any users on Highway K.
that we will.
We do not know that.
I know,
We have not approved that.
okay.
And we do not know that.
Okay, and this is another thing, who pays a fund pays for that, so we all pay for those fund costs over there, don't we?
We haven't really got to that point.
You told me that the whole village pays for it, Dan, including the sewer district, we paid for that.
We pay for the study that we're talking about for sewer, correct? There is a separate cost.
So we are
So-
paying for it too. The sewer fund is getting, we're paying for that out of our
Fund is
taxes.
not paid.
The taxes, what we're paying on our taxes.
It's money that was set aside a long time ago and sitting in a fund.
I know,
Thing.
I know that you said, but it's still the towns or the villages' money that we have paid into. So in essence,
So yes, everybody is paying.
so in essence, we have paid our own fair share, continue to pay fair, and yet we pay for it in this fund over here for their
You're
sewer.
paying your tax bill, yes.
I know, that's another thing we're paying for.
So if the ask is that if there's a large expenditure and the village has to assure that the sanitary
It's not.
users
fund.
does not go bankrupt, I think we've heard that the village will make sure that does not happen.
That we're helped by the village.
I mean, and
But if we
what
get
that
paid back
means,
for
what
the
that means
sewer-
is it will have to be debated and figured out, but
Understand?
yes, we're not gonna let it go
I
bankrupt.
just don't know if, you know, I know because not being on the utility, you don't understand what's all going on. So I just felt it was the time that we need to bring this all out, put it to bed, and let's just get it squared away. So you guys can realize in 5 years, if sewer's going on over there, wait a minute now, how about reimbursing, impact fee for what we had to pay for the $825,000? That's all.
So I think, so again, we're gonna have one issue on the next agenda for formal action. The fire department, we're taking care of that as was agreed to tonight, which doesn't need formal action. And this last one we've discussed, and I think we have an understanding, right? So I think to your point, Mark, I mean, and Linda, does this clear things?
It's fine.
Well, does it address these concerns moving forward? Because I think the board wants to make sure that we're adequately listening and addressing it instead of just,
I just
we don't want
ask
to
you
feel
to
like
listen,
you're giving
yes.
pushed away and then it still festers and you feel as though we need to come back here in a month or two. Have we resolved the main issues that you had?
I think so. I think so. And I'll try to do better, but this is the sore spot.
No, I think having some stuff written out tonight and having it on the agenda was, I think we got there and that this was helpful.
Right, and we're gonna have to tackle any problem that comes our way.
Right, so the last item tonight is discussion and necessary action regarding the replacement plan for engine 30.
Bringing this back, I had to need to send you guys all the list of repairs that you had requested from the fire department going back to 2024.
So when I sent out packets on Friday, I sent a follow-up email with a 54-page PDF attachment. I did not print it because it was 54 pages.
And I didn't really want it printed, and she asked me because of the fact that they're just a bunch of repair bills, so. If you guys wanna look at them, they're there. I did have a discussion with, Mr. Osterman regarding this too, and he had talked back about contract negotiations, though it wasn't written. That they did talk about a time frame of around 12 years replacement for that fire engine, so. I'm not asking that we make formal action to replace the fire truck. I'm just asking that we discuss authorizing coordinating a group together to even discuss potential replacement. Because once you put that order in for a fire truck, which we're still probably gonna be 8 months away after we spec out what we want, where it's gonna be a 2 to 3 year wait after that.
Will you put that in the budget then for that?
Yeah, we already
There's
have.
money- there's
in the
money in there
sinking
already.
fund,
Yeah.
We're doing 200 and some
Yeah.
$1,000 and I had in my notes that we were at in talking to Joe as well as the fire chief in previous meetings, we were at 12 to 15 years on the fire engine replacement and our sinking fund calculation has it at 13 years. I went back and looked at
Okay.
that.
And
So-
so 13 years would be right on par if we started discussions now. Cause they're literally 3 years out for some are 2, but I mean, we're gonna be talking about it for 6 to 8 months. That's kind of what happened with the tender as well.
I wasn't comfortable moving forward with the purchase at this point or authorizing that, but if we wanted to take action to form the committee or form a group to look at it, I would have more comfort with that. And I think Rob made some good points at the last meeting that can it be pushed off a little bit longer with some repairs? I guess I wanted to kind of, and then the whole, how that engine is used over there, and that engine is going into Pewaukee. You guys, that engine's going into Pewaukee a lot, and it's serving as an ambulance. I'm not comfortable with the way that we're doing this at all. So this has to be part of a bigger discussion
Me too.
before we move forward with
Thank you for
that.
bringing that up.
I'm not saying that we don't, have to get
Discuss it.
this engine and replace it in 3 years.
Mhm.
But I'm saying we need to have a larger discussion.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't wanna cheap out on it, but I also don't wanna just buy one just for the sake of buying one, cause.
Sure.
Pewaukee
Well,
wants
just
it or
because we have
whatever.
it spec'd out doesn't mean that we have to pull the trigger, but
Yeah.
we should at least consider it, given what the time frame is that we have budgeted and what was discussed.
Mhm.
Not written in the contract, but discussed during. So, right now.
What is the fire apparatus team?
Well, at the time we did the tender, it was the deputy chief from Pewaukee, the fire chief from Pewaukee, our copy and Doug Brown, and then myself.
Is that changed now that he's on the fire advisory?
Doug?
Mr. Brown.
No. Well, no, Doug is on the commission.
Commissioner
Fire.
advisory.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
and Rob has come to the, what do you call the joint, which has been the administrator, the chief elected official, and one other person from the city, the village, and the village.
As far as specking out a truck, I mean, obviously we want to take input from what the actual fire department has to say, but I think we were having Doug be there as kind of the village representative, understanding what the village's needs were for apparatus. And then I was in there just to make sure they weren't spending money like this.
Well, I mean, I love Doug, but I mean, I might feel a little more comfortable with Rob being, I mean,
Mhm.
can we have both?
I don't know anything about specking out a fire truck.
Yeah,
But I think when they're talking about
Yes,
items, maybe
yes.
you'd be better at kind of hearing what is more of a.
We have no recourse against Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
He really loves the fire department and he loves to have stuff for him.
yeah, while I was on it, I don't know the insides, if this pump's gonna be better than that pump. or,
Yeah. Oh, no.
You know, this or that. Although, I mean, obviously, there's something obvious, like. You know, why do we need 10 light bars on instead of 2? But
They'll do well.
All right, so let's move forward with this, and then we'll kind of maybe
I
circle
was gonna
back.
say, we don't have to have a committee decided.
Right, so maybe we'll circle back on that team at the next meeting.
Yep.
All right, so do we want a motion then?
Yeah, please.
So is there a motion to authorize the village administrator to begin coordinating with the fire apparatus team to begin fire truck configuration?
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Always say nay. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Always say nay.
I
Motion
thank you
carries.
all
We're
for
adjourned at
listening to-
8:49.
It's a sore spot with us original.
Oh, that's fine.
I think it
I
needed
think
to
we
be
got- I think
discussed.